Hi guys, okay, today we're going to do a little discussion on stealth again, but actually this is more of a in the topic but a little different than the hands-on, and in many ways this is the most important. Now, we've already discussed how our physical appearance can make a big difference, how we can camouflage ourselves, etc., to not attract attention. We've talked about how we can camouflage our trail going in and out to not attract attention. We've talked about times and things like that, dates, to make it easier to go in and out and again not attract attention. The whole idea of stealth is to not attract attention. And as I see it, there are 4 S's. The first S is sound. We don't want to give away our position by making racket. Okay? We don't want to be chopping with a hatchet or something that walk, walk, walk travels a long way. It gives away your position. We don't want to be kicking leaves and making a lot of noise going in. Being quiet, always being aware of how much sound you're making, how many ripples on the pond that you're generating. Whether we're out here to do nature photography, we're hunting, fishing, nature observing, whenever we're needing to be quiet and do something stealthy, this is why. Maybe we're coming out to camp and it's just a personal challenge. Can I get in there and come out quietly and not be detected? So sound, first S. Second S, sight. Sight is us giving away our position, either by movement or coloration or flashy or something like that that projects us out. Again, ripples on a pond. How far away can I be seen? I need to drop my silhouette, change my silhouette up so I'm not as visually, can be identified at range. If we're doing nature observation, stuff like that, believe me, that is a huge thing. If you don't look like a human, you don't attract the attention like nature does to it. One of my favorite ways to go out and do scouting, where I'm going to go and sling up and look for nature or look for possibly deer or something like that, is to take my old green hammock and just hang it up and get up there and get nice and comfortable, and I'm all camouflaged, but I'm in a hammock. It don't look like a human. I'm not standing vertical. So the silhouette doesn't look like a human, and so I get a lot more nature I get to see. And I have had deer walk right up to me, sniffing me like, what are you? Just lay perfectly still, don't move. Okay? But for whatever the reason, we want to break up our silhouette. We don't want to be seen. Okay? Number 3, smells. Scent or something, cologne or whatever can give us away. And other things. Like so I've had friends, I had a good friend years ago that we used to hunt together, and he would be about 200 yards to my right, and if the wind was coming on from that way, whenever it got lunchtime that he was going to eat something up in the deer stand, I knew it, because he loved this really stinky cheese and this like Limburger cheese and this other stuff, and it had a very pungent smell to it. He'd spent time in the Middle East and loved some of the cuisine and the smell. 200 yards away, I could smell it on the breeze. So senses can give you away. On the other hand, they can also tell you what's going on. Do you smell cigarette smoke on the wind? And yes, you guys that smoke, you can smell it a long way if you're a non-smoker. There are other things like that. The smell of a car, the smell of exhaust, hot brakes on a vehicle, things like that. Can you hear it? Just back, like we're talking about sound, do you hear vehicles stopping over there? That may be an indicator to you. Do you see flashes or movement in the distance? That's an indicator to you. So this is a two-way sword here. 2 edges. Not only me putting ripples out, but being aware of the ripples coming in. Okay? You got to be focused on that. In many ways, this is far more challenging. Anybody will can tell you how to go out there and kick up a little bit of pine straw on a super small and full camouflage and curl up in it and cover it up. Anybody can play hide. But that is just the smallest component of it. It's like understanding 2 pieces on a chessboard. There's a whole lot more pieces to be successful at this. And again, the 4 of sight. Seeing, but not being seen. Sound. Not giving away your position by sound, and hearing them give away their position. Smells. Not having anything on you that gives away you, or sensing from them to you. See? And finally, the most important one. Now, when I was taught all this as a boy, we were doing this because we were trying to feed the family. And we're having places to hunt, places to fish, turkey, whatever. And so is everybody else. And so you were quietly cultivating that big buck down there in that back bottom or whatever. And you needed to focus in and get onto his trail. At the same time, not let everybody know what you're doing, because they'll want to horn in there and get that chance to get it right. And so as I was taught it as a boy, that the 4 S's were: don't be seen, don't be heard, don't be smelled, and shut up. Although today I would change it from shut up to say social media. Don't broadcast what you're doing. Let me say that again. Don't broadcast what you're doing. Don't wear full camo with your eyes all covered up and everything when you come walking in the convenience store. You're attracting attention before you ever get out there. See? And so there's people that when you go and you catch a lot of fish, you found that little honey hole that's really producing. You don't go on social media and show pictures of, man, we caught 200, da 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 da. All you're doing is inviting heartache, because everybody wants to know where that's at. Where'd you get these at? Where exactly did you get these at? Everybody wants to know. Where'd you get that buck? Where at? Whose land? What time of the day was it? Do you have pictures on your camera from your deer feeder? And everybody goes to showing those. And I have known several dirt bags that I worked with one for quite a while, that people would come into the our business and worked, you know, there, and they would have pictures on game cameras or whatever over here on this big hunting land, this public hunting area. And they had pictures from their game cameras talking about this big buck here and that whatever, and he would just document it, and guess where he'd go hunting? And so he was poaching their deer. That you've done all the work and found that big monster buck, but you went in the break room and went to bragging about it. And so he knew exactly where to go look. He don't have to do any scouting. You did it for him. See? And so be quiet. Going to and from where you're going. You don't show it. Like I said, I keep my camouflage and all my stuff. If I'm going in pure stealth, I look normal day clothes until I get almost to my sight, and then I'll change. So that when I insert and I go in, I come back out, I drop back out into my regular stuff. Remember I talked about carrying running shorts and things like that, so I could transform back quickly. I don't want to attract attention. I'm going out to do nature observation, let's say, and I'm going to be going to this certain place. If I'm just wearing blue jeans and a t-shirt, you know, and got a little small backpack, that doesn't attract a lot of attention. You know, getting out of the, coming to the trailhead and parking the vehicle and walking down there. And then when I get close, I step off the trail side, I bring out all my stuff, and I fade into the woods and I go to where I'm going. See, if I'm wearing all this stuff and carrying all this stuff, obviously, other people are going to notice that and wondering what you doing. closely give you an idea of something practical in the real world. Okay. Bald eagles are not common where I live. They are here, but it is not common. Their population is not reestablished. And for nearly 10 years, it has been a closely guarded secret where there is a nesting pair of those. The game wardens were told by the landowner. They came in, they've done observations, and they are intentionally mum about that. The landowner is very mum about that. Does not allow anybody to hunt on his land because of that. Because they're trying to give that breeding population a chance to grow. And so, let's say I'm wanting to come in and do nature observation of said eagle nest. And I come in and I'm doing photography and whatever, and then I go get on social media and, oh, look what I found in Coffee County. How much unwanted attention is that going to bring? How many stupid rednecks, even though you tell them it's against the law and highly, 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 highly illegal to harm one of these creatures, thinking, you know, if I shot that thing, I bet I could get it mounted. There'd be some idiot. And when you're trying to protect something, either a hunting area, a fishing area, a camp that you don't want anybody to know about, you got to be quiet about it. Even Colin Fletcher, who wrote the book The Complete Walker, one of the best books out there, guys, that if for hiking and stuff like that, and I recommend all woodsmen read that book, because it's going to show you a mindset on how to organize your gear. Really, really good book. But Colin also wrote for Backpacker magazine, and he wrote an article talking about, it was called the Sanctum Sanctorum, a very private place. And he was on a national park, and he had figured out by the map, reading the map, that this place right here should have a beautiful overlook. And there was no trail to it or nothing like that. So he had pioneered in there and found it. And then he had quietly started, over the course of several campouts, developed him a camp, and then started cutting a trail back to the main trailhead. But he had stopped at 50 yards short of the trailhead. He even cached tools like axes and shovels on that trail, so that when he would come in, he would do trail maintenance. It was on private trail, going to his private camping area along a major hiking trail. But he did it quietly to keep this place pristine and beautiful. Because if he just let everybody know where it was. So, to recap, the 4 S's of sight, sound, smells, and silence. Be quiet. Don't attract attention to what you're doing, especially whenever everybody is interested in knowing what you're doing. If you're in a community or around a lot of people that, man, they're big fishermen, and everybody wants to know where the biggest bass are, or the biggest pike are, or whatever, the best salmon fishing is, or whatever. Don't tell everybody where you got your fish at. You know, it's sort of a requirement to be a good, bold-faced liar and be a fisherman. Because you don't want people to come in there and clean out your fishing area, clean out your hunting area. Go to your private secure camp that you built back in there, that you don't want nobody else to come in there and screw up and leave trash and destroy everything. That means you got to be silent. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Please leave any questions or comments below. And as always, thank you very much for supporting my channel. Till next time, guys, I'm Blackie, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.